Oh God.
I wonder, does anybody know just who I am? Nobody knows just who I am.
So we're live. Finally. I said 10:30, I was late. I was gonna have to deal with it, you feel me?
Is there anyone who's got my back for real?
One. Yes, Sirski. Grand Rising in Love. This is the Striving Upon Success podcast, aka Sus TV. I'm your host, Sus Moves.
It's really good to hear from
Thank you
y'all,
for tuning
man.
in. There's gonna be more
Good to hear
content
from me.
every week.
I'm the one
Don't
who's been
forget
ghost.
to like, share, subscribe, and hit that post notification.
yeah,
Until next time, Jesus is real, God is good. Peace.
Indeed, man. Indeed. Hey.
So now that
Oh, no. I thought we was going to start a little smoother than that. Yeah. Man. I've been in my own head just like, yo, when am I going to get back to podcasting, man? And just drop. All month, man. All month. The past like 2 months now. I apologize if, I sound a little, hey. Yeah, we're not doing that today, man. Let's get right to it, man.
Grand Rising in Love. This is the Striving Upon Success
get right to
podcast,
it.
aka Sus TV. I'm your host, Sus Moves. Thank you for tuning in. There's going to be more content every week. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that post notification. Until next time, Jesus is real, God is good.
Indeed.
Making moves like a movie script.
Destiny written is what we do. Yeah.
Sus TV.
Hey.
Sus TV.
Okay.
Sus
Okay.
Hey. Look. Sus TVville. Subscribe, hit it, wheel it, give and hit the bell. So the new vids don't stop, get it, know the deal. Move, run up the M's, shoot past the mills. We are the team promoting how to heal. Grind like the ant, you already know it's on our heels. Ain't sus without us, but smooth standing still. Give love to real ones, respect mutual. Hey, been the time, been advised. Got too much plague in my mind with the games that we lose is built by design. Could I really make it out with a slick little line? Look at the sky and ask for a sign. Built in the green like I take care of vines. Get this energy from my mind. Get the
Real power from the guy.
hey.
Bill. Indeed. I'm back, baby. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sville, welcome to Sville, the podcast on the Sus TV network, Striving Upon Success network. As you know, I'm your host, Sus Moves, and what a vacation from this pod, man. What a vacation. But it's okay, man. We back. We're back. It's only positivity. You know what I mean? We're on. We're rocking. We're rolling, and it's really good to be back. You know what I'm saying? Let's just hope that everything in operation is in operation, and it ain't really about hope. But let's just pray that everything that is in operation is in operation. Speaking of which, thank God for another day. Thank you for guiding us. You know what I mean? Thank you for protecting us. Thank you for that ultimate sacrifice. Having your one and only son, die on that cross so that we could have that everlasting life, so that we could be free of that burden. And it's not something to overlook. It's something to be grateful for each and every day. And even if you're not entirely religious or anything like that. Again, apologize, a little under the weather. I hope that you guys at least are just grateful. You know what I mean? There's plenty of science and plenty of research that says that you can be anxious, you know, and grateful at the same time. So I hope you guys are practicing gratefulness each and every day that comes to you, each and every sunrise. Yeah, let's get right into it, man. Let's get right into it. As you have heard, there is a winner. You know what I'm saying? There's a winner in this whole man. I'm over here sounding like I'm about to kick the bucket. Hold on. Let's put things in the right perspective. God forbid, right? All right, let's put things in the right perspective, man. I'm over here playing the wrong things, man. But, you know, that's just what happens when, you know, it's just been a lot of entertainment, yelling, screaming. This has been so much going on. Where we're recording right now, I just want to shout out the Knicks. I know that they did lose, but they've put up impressive sportsmanship. They put up impressive numbers. They got into Game 7. You know what I'm saying? Very, very proud to be a New Yorker. I know that we didn't win it. We had a lot of injured players. I'm not particularly a Knicks fan. Was rooting for the Brooklyn Nets, and then they finally got that turn up, and everything flopped, and it was just, you know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there, because New Yorkers gotta support New Yorkers, and for all those Knicks fans that don't care for my support, that's all well and good. I'm just giving your team the kudos. I'm giving your team the respect that they truly deserve, because not a lot of people are gonna go out there and say that. I mean, I do see that being the consensus this time around, thank goodness, and hopefully Brunson makes the proper recovery so that you know, everything is put into perspective for the following for the following go around, man. When all this stuff starts, you can tell I'm such a great sports fan, but you know, had to talk about it, so there it is. Is this thing willing to play, man? Is this thing willing to play? It's almost like I'm being hacked by Drake. But yeah, we have a winner, man. The winner is none other than Compton's own Kendrick Lamar. You feel me? It was quite the battle. Everyone has their pickings, but I guess what ended it all for sure was definitely the Meet the Grams into the Not Like Us. You know what I'm saying? Not Like Us kind of being a celebratory record that just just wrapped everything up in a nice bow. Drake even admitted to it, you know what I mean? To, you know, conceding in his own way. He put a samurai post on his IG or something like that. Who knows? Whatever. 20v1. Like, we get it. You know what I mean? But it was a body. Compton won. LA won. Cali won. And it was a very, very entertaining battle. We had first-person shooter, which wasn't even really a diss. Traveling right into Like That, which was a banger. You know what I mean? Still a banger to this day. Still one of those beats that's going to be repeated for years and years and years to come, in my opinion. And then right off of Like That, we had J. Cole jumping out the door with a diss track and then apologizing for it, realizing that it was going to get personal and it was going to get into things that he didn't really want to get into. I'm sure, I can't speak for him, but what everyone speculates is that he wanted to keep it straight hip hop. He wanted to keep it straight bars, and the direction that it was going to go, he ended up apologizing for everything because he's just not willing to take it in those realms to be the quote unquote best. And yeah, that drops him out of the big three. There's no big three anymore, ironically or unironically. But great battle. Drake came out with push-ups, and they came out with Tailor Made Freestyle, which was which came with threats of a lawsuit because he did something relatively corny, creative but corny, using the dead to diss our very own Kendrick. I mean, if you guys were paying attention and you guys were there, you guys know what happened. But I'm just doing a quick recap for the sake of it being on the pod, on my pod. Yeah, they not like us. Yo, is anyone else just doing random ad-libs while they're just like walking around, you know, doing dishes or something like that? You know what I mean? Just boom, you know what I mean? Or what? Yeah, them up. I'm gonna do my stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a really, really catchy song. And I think this song is gonna be played all summer. You guys were there for the disses back and forth. Rick Ross jumped in there. Really funny diss track. Let me see you Pusha T. You see, look, it's just, you know what I mean? Euphoria, masterful, very surgical. Right into the 616 LA, taking away that power from him doing his usual signature. Going right into Drake finally shooting and doing Family Matters, which was great. You know what I mean? He had that one bar in there that I really, really liked. Even though he didn't say nothing really when he said that, he wasn't saying nothing, but boy did it sound nice. Yo, hey, they not like us. I really love all the reactors when they put all the great reactors that are up there. They missed they're gonna miss a few, but for the most part, they have all the main reactors in that one bubble, all like reacting to it like it's a classroom, because that's what hip hop and this culture and all this internet stuff is, just one big Zoom call classroom each and every day, updating each other for what's like going on in each other's lives. I don't know what's going on with my phone today. We're gonna have a lot of technical issues when dealing with the videos today, because I have a couple of stuff that I want to get into.
Maybe in this song, you shouldn't start by saying,
Nigga, I said it, I know that you mad. I've emptied the clip over friendlier jabs. You mentioned my seed and I deal with his dad. I gotta go.
Nice. Real nice. Very, very Drake-like. Yeah, he lost. Kendrick won, K-Dot won. I mean, there wasn't really no doubt from me. I hadn't really spoken on it publicly, but, you know, to my friends and everything like that, I was like, please don't,
Hey,
you know.
who's next on the list?
This right
Which
here.
one of my so-called niggas? Which one of
This
my
right here
so-called
was
niggas? Which one of my so-called
awesome.
niggas need a shell for the
Amazing.
clip? Always knew I had to smoke y'all niggas. Good kid, Mad City van, Will pot the latch and make the door slide. Tears running down my cheek, laughing at you pussy dying, it's a war cry. With your music getting played in all the spots where boys got a little more pride. That's why all your friends dip into Atlanta playing just to find a tour guide. Able run your fucking bread, need to buy some more chains for some more guys. Let me find another street nigga I could take to the game course.
Yeah, that whole Good Kid, Mad City, yo, whoever wrote that, nah, I'm playing. Whoever wrote that, fire. No, that was really impressive. But again, Family Matters, Meet the Grams, RDC World, as you guys know, came out with those skits and everything like that. Again, all this stuff is long since done talked about. I'm just regurgitating again to put it back on the channel to get things back updated where it needs to be, because there were definitely quite a few events that were going on that this channel missed. Speaking of which, we're going to be, like I always say, working on the consistency. We'll see how that goes. We're going to start adding some ads in our videos, okay? It's time to take it up to that next level. We have everything moving on a professional tip. We're updating the socials and everything like that, you know, little bit by little bit. And it's just the consistency that needs to, you know, definitely exist. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen over time. We're going to go ahead and get that going. And everything's going to be A-okay, man. But to make things a little more, unfortunately, things are going to go and take a little turn and be a little somber. I just want to take a brief moment of silence for all of those who have died in Gaza, for all of those that have died in Israel. Loss of life is just it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? All this war, all this strife, battle over land, battle over, you know, dominating powers, oil, gas, all these different things. But again, let's just take a brief moment of silence for all those that have lost their lives. Thank you. A lot of interesting updates when it comes to Palestine and Israel and their conflict. And I do hope that, we see things for what it is. We see the propaganda for what it is. We see and we contextualize everything, and we do our due diligence and our research and really get into what these two powers, have been have had going on for so long, and why are they in this conflict. Try to understand just more and more of the history, the full history from both sides of just why this is even happening in the first place, why this has escalated into this level, and really deep dive and try to understand what it is that needs to be done in order for people to just everyone just cool out. There's lives at stake. Maybe we can rectify this a different way. You know what I mean? Speaking of war, Ukraine, Russia still going at it. No sign of ending. Some people are saying that, Ukraine has already been taken over. Some people are saying that, Russia isn't looking too good. Other areas are being affected, of course, Moldova and all these different places. And these, what was the one that they're gonna fight over? I forgot. They're fighting over one particular piece. If they do, it's a lot. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to get into all of that. Egypt was closing up its borders. They were doing different things because they didn't want to deal with Iran coming in. Speaking of which, the Iranian president was shot out of the sky or something to that degree. Something happened, and now their helicopter went down, and they're trying to. The Iranian president is pronounced dead from what I saw online. I don't know how true that is, but the survivors are making their way somehow, some way. All of this stuff, like Iran's influence in the conflict between Hamas and Israel, and Israel's efforts to get rid of Hamas in Gaza, in Palestine, not necessarily the beef with the people, but war is war, and it's just all ugly to see. It's just a lot of different moving parts. And then watching what the U.S. is doing, the funding that we're giving, money that we suddenly have when our own people, you know what I mean? It's like $40 just to order out, get one, pizza and a soda. You know what I mean? $40. I know from personal experience. But, a lot of moving parts. A lot of moving parts when it comes to this war. I need more time to really look into the history in order to fully understand what it is that's going on, because I'm not fully educated on it, and I'm not about to just, deep dive into a protest when I don't know necessarily all the moving parts, because I don't want to be manipulated that way. When we talk about violence, speaking of which, just more locally, because this is a podcast that speaks on global issues, of course, and just overall mental and physical well-being for the common person of all walks of life, and hopefully we find ways to help one another. But that aside, locally we are a New York podcast, and there's been a increase in violence out here in New York. A lot of mental instability in a lot of the residents, newfound residents, some old residents out here. A lot of people strung out. We've always had our own version of it. But LA is one of those top states that has a lot of homeless people just strung out all over the place. Baltimore, not to just shoot at other states, other cities and things like that, but we it's something to look at. There's increase in violence. I saw someone had attacked someone's daughter, a little baby, with a machete, killed on spot. The mom chased the killer down, and the person was eventually arrested. I saw someone tied a belt around a woman's neck and then forced themselves on her. I saw, and it's been weeks since that's happened. but there's just a increase in violence. So do what you need to do in order to keep yourself safe at all times. And, you know, you would think that with the level of price, with all the, you know, everything that we pay, that it would get a little safer, but no. And then to know that this is still the top, New York is one of the top cities in the world. And I do mean the world, let alone the United States, because in the United States, it's supposed to be seen as a world power, as one of those first world countries. So, you know, and in first world countries, the top tier for the average top tier person is making about anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 a year, which is insane to think that, you know, that is the 10% or the, you know, it's lower than 10% of the globe. Everyone else is making under $30,000 to $40,000, just scraping by. It's a very different world outside of the U.S. And, you know, you got to be grateful each and every day, but that doesn't mean that there isn't their fair share of violence and different things going on here in New York that we have to look out for. Protect yourselves, protect each other, stay in constant communication, because you just never know. Just love one another. You know what I mean? Love one another. Back to this rap beef. A few honorable mentions. Rick Ross and The Game have a little bit of a battle going on. Kaz took some shots at J. Cole. Or no, Simba took some shots at J. Cole. Kaz went and defended J. Cole. They had a little back and forth. Kanye shot at J. Cole, hoping and praying that J. Cole would diss him. But, you know, I don't think J. Cole's going to take the bait. You know, who knows why everyone makes the decisions they make? Who knows why everyone makes these different kind of choices and what goes on in their brain ideology? You know what I mean? Between the conflicts and the complexities of why we start wars to simple music rap beef, and why it is that we push the limits on those things. You know, Drake's house ended up getting shot up, but now allegedly Drake might have staged the whole shooting. Or a real shooting, and ended up getting his security guard fatally injured, and then is now claiming to have been preparing to move, or has already moved to the UK at this point. Not sure what's what with any of this. Who knows why everyone makes the decisions they make? But that is one of the main topics of this pod, and that is behavioral therapy. I'd like to just go to the Bible real quick, and I found this quote that I thought was interesting. Proverbs 16:1. To humans belong the plans of the heart, but from the Lord comes the proper answer of the tongue. And you know, it's just speaking more into decision making, why it is that we do what we do, why it is that we make the choices that we make. And there's a couple of different ways that we make these different choices. It's one of the aspects of why certain decisions get made and why our brain chemistry is the way it is due to a multitude of categories that we have. And what do I mean by categories? I'm glad you asked. I have a little something that I'd like you guys to listen to. Hold on one second. This is the part of the video I was talking about where I said that it's going to give us a little bit of a fight, you know?
Wait a second, I thought it was a phone number. That was one digit. Now 2 digits. I can't, and it's gone, and you're on to the next one. And what we see there is the third example, which is when you pay too much attention to boundaries, you don't see the big picture. All you see are categories. All you see are, wait a second, phone numbers are supposed to come with 3 digits followed by 4. Another example of where we use categorical thinking. Okay, I'm putting up a number series here.
It's a 4, a 14, a 23,
okay,
and a 34.
Okay, what's the next number in this series?
And not to play the whole video, but, you know, he starts to ask the class, what's the next number in the series after 4, 14, 23, and 34? There are a multitude of answers. Some people said 7 billionth. Some people said 45. Some people said 42, trying to base it off of math. One person said, one person did say 42, but for a different reason. He was asked why, and the professor said, "You're correct. Why are you correct?" He said, "Oh, it's the train. It's the train. It's the subway." So the professor had listed out numeric stops on a train out here in New York, and you would only know that if you were here from New York. But you see how your brain categorically from 4 to 14, 10. You know what I mean? From 14 to 23, etc. From 23 to 34. You're thinking about numbers. You know what I mean? Different people had different. I don't know how they got 7 billion, but different people had different numbers, and different people had different ways of thinking to go about getting their answer. And then one person had a whole different categorical thought process where they thought, oh, these are train stops, and that's a really creative dimension to show that the brain has so many pockets, and you don't want to hold yourself to a certain boundary in thinking. You know what I mean? I think that is a key aspect in when we start to look at the science of it, of how we can start to think outside the box when it comes to our creativity and when it comes to just decision makings in general. It's not always going to be a black and white. There's always a way to get some sort of shade of gray. Another way that another way that we can improve our decision making has to do with neuroplasticity, which also, it coincides with everything. But neuroplasticity, basically, actually, I don't have to give you guys the Sus Moves educational mumbo jumbo. I can just give you guys the actual. The actual factual. Neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to form and recognize sympathetic connections, especially in response to learning or experience or following injury. Neuroplasticity offers to everyone, from stroke victims to dyslexics. It offers a path. So, yeah, and there's different ways to go about tapping into that neuroplasticity. One of the key factors that remain across all the scientific tables is that focus can cause you to tap into that, and then sleep will cause you to expand on that deep quality sleep. So you need to be getting deep quality sleep each and every day, and you want to try to focus on things for any length of time to start to get your brain into this exercise rhythmic routine so that it can start to tap more into your learning abilities. One of the ways that we do that is through a breathing exercise. If you focus on both of your nostrils and breathe in and breathe out, and focus on how much air you're breathing in and how much air you're breathing out, you automatically have focused and dialed in on this, and now you're breathing and you're thinking about how you're breathing in all these different ways. There's an improvement in how you're breathing because you're thinking about it. It's not just something passive in the background. And there's an aspect of that they teach in deep meditation when it comes to, hold on one second. Right. And there's a, welcome back. You know what I mean?
Welcome back to the Striving Upon Success podcast.
Indeed.
AKA Sus TV. I'm your host, Sus Moves. This is season 4. Let's go, man.
So we were talking about neuroplasticity, and we was talking about the different ways. Focus. We were talking about a meditation exercise through breathing, and I was just going to mention that in that exercise, they even have where similar exercise to that, and different breathing exercises and different intensive focus-based thinking can lead you to deep meditation. And some of that deep meditation, some claim that you can astral project and all these different attributes. So everything all coincides through meditation, yoga, working out, focus, chess, board game, all these different things that our brain does. It all splashes together in one great scientific tool that is to be explored. So there is that aspect. There is something that I do want to play, but I can't because it's far too long a video. I'm gonna play these 2 videos.
You might think, well, if covering one eye leads to poor vision for that eye after that eye is open, covering both eyes would probably make you blind, right? Actually, that's not what happens. What Hubel and Wiesel discovered, and what's been affirmed many, many more times over in subsequent studies, is that it's competitive, that the 2 eyes are competing for real estate up in the brain. So if you actually cover both eyes, you actually extend the period of the critical plasticity. This is a really interesting aspect that other people are starting to leverage now in terms of how to reopen plasticity later in life. You might think, well, if covering one eye.
So you see, that's just another way, another exercise in which to get in on that focus-based neuroplasticity. All right.
The brain is basically designed to be customized in the early part of life and then to implement those algorithms and that circuitry for the rest of its life. Let's say you want to be less anxious, you want to learn a new language, you want to be more functional in some way, presumably. The key thing is to bring focus to some particular perception of something that's happening during the learning process. And the reason for that is that there's a neurochemical system involving acetylcholine. All day long, you're doing things in a reflexive way. But when you do something and you think about it very intensely, acetylcholine is released from basalis at the precise neurons that were involved in that behavior, and it marks those for change during sleep or during deep rest later. So for people that want to change their brain, the power of focus is really the entry point, and the ability to access deep rest and sleep. Because most people don't realize this, but neuroplasticity is triggered by intense focus, but neuroplasticity occurs during deep sleep and rest. The brain.
And well, you heard it right there, folks. We were going to get into the different brain structures. The back of the brain in charge of vision, the front of the brain in charge of, I forget, underneath the brain. Anyway, we were going to get into all of that, but it is far too long a video. There's far too much, to research and deep dive in. Hopefully I get in on that on an open stimuli. You know what I mean? You guys should tune into the first one that I did where we were getting into a lot of great content on that. I feel like that's one of the better pods of this from this channel. But yeah, what we're kind of exploring right now is behavioral therapy. I'm sorry. It's one more time. Hold on. It's been a day. And it's just started. It's not behavioral therapy, I apologize. Behavioral biology. So that's one of the aspects that we're looking into right now. It is your behavioral biology. Why are we making the decisions that we are making, and how can we increase learning and functionality? And anybody can breathe. So this is usable for anyone in all walks of life. I'd like to, give tips and information for people to just try to add these different things to their lives. Even if it's temporary, who knows the benefits, you know what I mean? And other than that, man, just, each and every day, everybody just stimulate your brain. Everyone just try their very bestest to stay as healthy as you can. Don't drink as much. Don't smoke as much. Don't engage in, bad habits such as eating excessive amounts of junk food as much as you can. And just try to get active each and every day as well, again, as stimulating your brain, like I said before. Board games and different things that cause you to focus, creative things that help you focus in on it to try to get better at whatever activity that it is that you're doing, because that's only helping your brain learn and expand. And when I say expand, I don't mean the brain's necessarily getting bigger, although I have to research the science in order to see if that is an aspect, but I am talking about the neural links and the amount of neural links that you will have and the connections that you'll have in your synapses inside of your brain, you know what I mean, inside of your noggin. So thank you guys for another great episode. You know what I'm saying? You see, we're here, we're doing it, you know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Welcome back to the Striving Upon Success podcast, aka Sus TV. I'm your host, Sus Moves. This is season 4. Let's go, man.
Indeed. Let's get up out of here, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Again, behavioral biology. This was just a little brief, you know what I mean? Jump in on the pod. It was a quick little ep, you know what I mean? Hopefully there was some tips and things in there that you guys can utilize. I know that my episodes are really short, and you guys would probably like it if I got more in depth on some of these topics. But I saved that for the open stimuli just so I can keep on banging out videos, giving you guys current events, and giving you guys my opinions on these current events, as well as hopefully tuning in with the culture, with people in my life, and, you know, whatever snippets of information that I can give, I give. Tune in, like, share, subscribe. I don't say that enough. I'm going to start saying that in the beginning and at the end. Like, share, subscribe, please. It does help. I am trying to get these views up. I am trying to get these subs up. And I'm getting this consistency and getting these videos up. So thank you for tuning in, man. Little line.
AKA Sus TV. I'm your host, Sus Smooth.
Move.
Pause. Grand Rising in Love. This is the Striving Upon Success podcast, aka Sus TV. I'm your host, Sus Moves. Thank you for tuning in. There's going to be more content every week. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that post notification. Till next time. Jesus is real. God is good. Peace. We out.